Hey everyone, we got some big news for Apple stock investors as the company updated investors on a $10 billion tax charge it had to pay, operating cash flow in the latest quarter, customer satisfaction numbers, and more. I'm going to go through each of these developments and discuss what it could mean for Apple stock investors as it was just surpassed by Nvidia, which took the lead as the most valuable company in the world. So let's take a look at the latest developments at Apple.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
All right, so during the quarter, Apple said they recorded a one-time income tax charge of $10.2 billion, which relates to the impact of the reversal of the European General Court's state aid decision. So the company pays out of pocket $10 billion. Man, that's a tough tax case to take, a $10 billion hit. Thankfully, the company generated $26.8 billion in operating cash flow in the latest quarter. So the company has way enough money to pay for this tax charge. It's still not a desirable outcome. The operating cash flow number was a new September record for Apple. And in more good news for Apple stock investors, the company reported customer satisfaction numbers for the iPhone 15 family, according to 451 Research, measuring at 98% in the US. Customer satisfaction was recently reported at 97% for the iPad and 96% for the Apple Watch. So 98, 97, and 96% for the iPhone, Apple Watch, and the iPad. Really strong customer satisfaction numbers. And in my investing framework, one of the 6 steps in my investing framework is customer value proposition. How good do customers feel the value is that you provide customers? And with these scores, you can give Apple an A+ on customer value. They go on to say that they now have well over 1 billion paid subscriptions across the services on their platform, more than double the number they had just 4 years ago. So Apple, one of the strongest subscription businesses in the world, trouncing some other companies. And to be fair, other companies, let's say Netflix, they only have one thing there. They have their streaming subscription service, where Apple has Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, the cloud segment subscription, and many more. So their subscription numbers are obviously going to be higher than others, but it's still impressive, over 1 billion paid subscription. And it goes to highlight just how valuable the iPhone is. It brings you into the Apple ecosystem, and then you're very likely to add one of their services subscriptions to your iPhone to make it more useful. Apple's December quarter forecast is for total revenue to increase by low to mid single digits year over year. Now, if you're new to these guidance numbers, when management forecasts, let's say low single digits, what they mean by that is 1%, 2%, or 3%. That's low single digits. Mid single digits is 4%, 5%, or 6% growth, and high single digits is 7, 8, or 9% growth. So low to mid single digits probably means somewhere in the range of 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5% growth year over year for Apple. They recently reported growth of around 6% growth in the previous quarter. So December quarter growth of low to mid single digits seems like a reasonable forecast to expect from Apple. Now they expect the services revenue to grow double digits at a rate similar to what they reported for the full year in 2024. And they expect gross margin to be 46 to 47%, a really strong gross profit margin for Apple. And if you don't already know, Apple's services segment generates over twice the gross profit margins of the hardware segment. So if the services segment continues growing faster than the company overall, that's going to be lifting profit margins overall, as the more profitable part of the business is growing faster than the less profitable part of the business. The CFO, Luca Maestri, highlighted how they operate their data centers. They have a bit of a hybrid model. In some cases, they use their own data centers, and in other cases, they use third-party providers. And data centers are gaining increasing interest from investors as these data centers are being upgraded and optimized for artificial intelligence. Of course, Apple recently announced its artificial intelligence, Apple Intelligence, will be rolling out incrementally over the next few months. The first phase already started rolling out. So it'll be interesting to see the capital expenditures from Apple if they increase like some of the peers, the large cap tech peers, Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet, Meta platforms, they've all increased their capital expenditures on these data centers significantly by the tens of billions of dollars. Apple generally spends roughly $10 billion annually on capex. And so investors are interested in knowing if Apple's going to boost up that level. Is it now going to jump from 10 to 15 billion or from 10 to 20 billion? And Apple didn't really answer that question. They just said, look, we have a hybrid model, so you can't really compare our capex to our peers, and just left it at that and just said, you know what, we are going to invest in AI. We're just going to do it a little bit differently than some of our large cap tech peers. So talking about margins and the inputs to Apple's business, the cost drivers on commodities, they tell us that for the September quarter and for the December quarter, most commodities are moving down in price, while NAND, which is storage, and DRAM, which is memory, those prices increased during the September quarter, and we expect them to increase during the December quarter. And that's what I hear from one of the biggest manufacturers and sellers of NAND and DRAM, which is Micron Technology, ticker symbol MU. That's a stock I've been following. I've had it on my list of top stocks to buy. And this is great news for Micron, as Apple is saying, look, we're noticing higher prices in storage and DRAM, which are the two products that Micron sells during the September quarter, and we expect them to increase again in the December quarter. So that's great news, higher average selling prices for Micron. And Micron also said they are increasing supply because these newer phones, these newer laptops, these newer personal computers, they require increasing computing power to utilize artificial intelligence. So that's been great news for them. Not so much great news for Apple because the prices of those are inputs to Apple's smartphones and iPads and laptops and desktops, etc. But it is good news for Micron. Hey everyone, I'm excited to announce that my book is finally available for sale. I've been working on it for more than a year now, so I'm really excited to finally share this with you now. It goes through my framework for evaluating stocks. Some of you often ask why I like this stock or why I like the other stock, and this framework provides you the things that I look at when I'm evaluating stocks. I've added the link in the description below.